going, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. My name is Ashur117, and I'm your friendly neighborhood Assyrian gamer. We have a couple stories to go through today, and before we do that, I do have an announcement to make. I have a Discord server, and yeah, I'll leave the link to the server. You're more than welcome to join it. Obviously, first and foremost, this server is made for gaming. But you're more welcome to join if you're not, and if you just want to basically go there to talk to people, to whatever for reasons, honestly, you're more welcome to join it. The only thing I would ever ask is that you be respectful to everyone else. Anything beyond that, that's it, literally. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no requirement whatsoever on that. You're welcome to go in there to talk about gaming, anime, you name it, whatever you feel like it. There are a couple other different chat channels on there. Hopefully when it does grow, we can obviously think about basically adding a lot more and just maintaining the server itself. I'll leave the link to the Discord server on the description. You're more welcome, like I said, to join. I'll bring anybody else that's along with you. Other than that, I do have other different mediums, like for example Twitch, Instagram, I even have Clapper and Facebook as well. You're more than welcome to click on all of those links to join. You can go on there, and I'll basically I usually try to keep each and every one of them updated to where what I'm doing next on obviously this channel. And last but not least, I've been actually really thankful for all the support that you guys have been showing me on the latest videos. Please, the only thing I would ever, if you'd like basically more of my content, the only thing I would ever ask is you obviously sub, like, comment, share my videos, whatever you'd like to, honestly. But viewership, honestly, is all I would ever ask of you if you do enjoy my content, and please, I hope you do. Any suggestions whatsoever, I'll be more than happy to take them on comments. Just be nice and respectful. Moving on, let's start with the with today's stories. So we start off with Amazon. That one's kind of funny. Amazon's well, only game I should say is New World's MMORPG, and now they're having an interesting issue. Now, obviously, this game has been out for a while now, and ever since been out, a little bit while now. Ever since it's been out, it's been marred with a couple different issues, a lot of different issues, technical and among other things, obviously. And let me switch to the story here. And this basically explains it is that last week's Into the Voids update for Amazon's MMORPG or MMO New Worlds introduces a new weapon for players to wield, new enemies to encounter, balance changes amid making life a little more enjoyable. That's usually what it is, enjoyable. And unfortunately, the update also includes an undocumented boost in power to the elite endgames, making them a lot more harder for players. Now, every update that I know from almost any MMOs, it's usually they will make some enemies harder, but usually when you make an pre-existing endgame enemy a lot more harder than it was before, it's usually for two reasons. One, people have been complaining about it. Two, people complain about it, honestly. It's usually a lot of balance game on that, so, you know, and I think I played enough to basically notice that developers will make them harder, and then players will come in like, hey, yeah, you know, that's too much, lower it down a bit, and make it just enough challenging and enjoyable, but at the same time, not impossible to beat. This one, unfortunately, seems like they just kind of went way overboard, and looks like basically they're taking their sweet time to do this. Looks like they're pulling a Bungie, in my opinion. Jokes aside, but yeah, it seems like basically this whole thing is, and in all fairness, this is Amazon's very first anything, period, in gaming wise. So I'm hoping at this point right now. I don't play the game personally, but I'm hoping at this point right now that they're listening to the player to actually, you know, make this game a lot more fun to them. All right, so moving on. This one is CD Projekt Red. So that's about Cyberpunk 2077. So This one's kind of funny, actually, and confusing at the same time. So, Cyberpunk 2077 is having a first good day in a while, but this is mainly on the PC version. So, I'm not sure where you're playing it at. I actually, when the game first came out, I actually got the collector's edition, but for PlayStation. Um, I know what you're thinking. Yeah. Oh yeah. And this is funny because at the time when I did get I got it, and I also had a PlayStation 5. The little joke I used to play on is the blue screen, but this time it's gray because PlayStation 5. But yeah, anyway, point being is the game basically right now on Steam is on a sale, mainly for Black Friday and I guess soon Cyber Monday, but it's getting good reviews, obviously. Some of the players are obviously taking more interest into it because the game actually has gone down in price and they're buying it. Due to the fact also nowadays, too, obviously since almost, a year now, the game has received some updates and some fixes to the PC version. Console version, unfortunately, at this point is, well, we're still waiting. But that's just now. I would love to basically play it on my PC. But at this point right now, I spent so much money on the console version. I really want to enjoy the console version. CD, please fix the console version. We all want to play it. I still want to play it. Actually, the game itself actually has so much promise. And this is coming from the company that I used to hail as the diamond standard, the last diamond standard for all the companies to be achieving. But after this, it's just kind of hard, honestly, for anybody basically to ever trust CD Projekt Red after they say anything. Mostly when this happens to any of the companies, it's just hard to basically trust anymore. I'm really happy that they are actually having a good day, and I hope this actually does boost the developers and the upper management to encourage them to actually fix the console version, because I do want the console version to actually succeed, to actually have some good news for it. Obviously, personally, I want to play it. Please, I want to play it. I don't want to buy another copy or virtual copy. I don't care, or something else. Even if it is for my PC, I want to play it on my console. Please let me play it on the console. Not to mention, up to this right now of recording this video, they haven't actually even brought on the like the next gen versions for either Xbox and or for that matter for the PlayStation 5. Which, granted, this doesn't really mean anything for PC, because PC is basically going to get the optimal version. The optimal version of the game itself, period. Anyway, so with that being said, I really do hope, honestly, that CD Projekt Red does actually try to fix this, because if they can, I can almost guarantee you at least some of that trust that was lost will be gained right back. So, fingers crossed. All right, moving on. This one is about, you guessed it, Halo. Now, Halo Infinite has been having nothing but good to say, honestly. The only thing I can think of, honestly, that would be anything negative, even then, it's pretty, I mean, not as a huge negative, to be honest, is the Battle Pass. Most of them, basically, I've talked to, the game has been nothing but enjoyable, fun. The mechanics and everything, the gunplay are amazing, just fun. No one's had anything negative to say about it to begin with. Battle Pass, as far as I can tell, even though the two aforementioned people basically do have the Battle Pass, I haven't heard anything from them. But as far as I can tell, basically, all the research I've done when it comes to the Battle Pass is that it's very, very grindy. And I can almost guarantee you, personally speaking, from my experience, and a lot of other people I can quote right now, when it becomes that grindy, it's not worth playing. But that's just us. Not saying everyone else, but majority of people do feel that way. And this isn't just coming from like casual gamers and everything else. It's usually even hardcore gamers on when they're enjoying the game. But the moment it becomes grindy, and this is a quote from one of my friends, it starts becoming like a chore. When it comes like a chore, it's no longer fun, honestly. Basically, the game talks about the fact that its newest event, which gives you a set of armor, and the armor is the samurai armor. Yeah, and and I've seen actually a couple pictures and videos to where you literally look like a Shogun samurai. The armor's pretty cool, but the way basically that talks about with this article is that it's just for one piece. It's just it takes a lot of things to do just for one piece, like almost 14 different things, challenges whatsoever, just for one piece. And if that's the case, honestly, I feel like that's way too much. And again, even article basically does quote the fact that this will basically alienate like casual players. And even though a lot of us are basically labeled casual players, I'll take that label too. Honestly, I do find myself, even though I consider myself a hardcore player, in a hardcore gamer, I should say. Some games I am a casual player. This one in particular, I'm not much of a PvP player. Honestly, I haven't yet. To be honest, I have downloaded the game, but I've mainly played with. I don't know if I want to say it, but I played with bots. Yes, yes. Cue in the laughter. I have played with bots. I have not had the courage to play with actual people. I'm that bad, okay? But yeah, moving on. Anyway, all right. So moving on. EA, huh? Anyway, the story basically today is the fact that one of its head designers is deciding to leave. DICE's head of design, sorry if I mispronounced it, Fauzi Mizmar, yeah, Fauzi Mizmar leaves company following Battlefield 2042 launch. Now, there was an email sent out to the company employees, and it basically states out the fact that he's leaving as soon as it launches. But they basically the way that it's explained by a couple other people, it says that basically he'd been planning leaving way ahead of time, way before even the game was launching. So it wasn't anything conspiracy like where, oh my god, the game's doing bad, I'm leaving the company, or anything else like that. At least that's how it was explained on the email. Beyond that, honestly, it basically just explains the fact that he's basically moving on to another company. He wants to basically start on new projects, do other things. Usually the whole usual speech when it comes to, hey, I'm moving on, I want to basically work on something else. And next is still Survivor, still basically on EA. This one is more or less has to do with the BioWare, actually. BioWare is also apparently losing somebody. This one is a little bit more weirder because, well, the way I was reading this, a senior creative director, Matt Goldman, has just left BioWare after 23 years. Now, this isn't anything new. Directors, developers, or even writers, lead writers, they always leave basically. But just like basically I just said right now, to where they usually have like a long, grandiose speech, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, blah blah blah. I'm on the next journey." They basically make the whole speech sound like they're basically going on to the next DLC of life. That's actually not a bad quote. Yeah. Sorry, horrible jokes. But yeah, this one is a bit odd because due to the fact that everybody in BioWare got an email and like, hey, so so and so has left and he's no longer with the company. That was it. It's just plain stop. Why? How? What? No one's been able to basically find out. A couple of the companies, PC Gamer and actually I believe IGN, have tried to contact EA, and the only thing they've gotten is literally just a scripted speech to where like, oh well, the game Dragon Age is basically still in good hands and in BioWare's standard of magic, which is hilarious due to the fact that the latest, I think minus the remastered of Mass Effect's trilogy, every game so far that's been coming out of BioWare has been horrible. Granted, Anthem was more or less BioWare's fault. All the rest of them, honestly, has just been like something to where it's been EA just kind of, well, putting their business where it doesn't belong. Which, I mean, even though they own them, granted, but you know what I mean. Butting in when they don't need to. This is just kind of odd because due to the fact that like there was literally nothing, not even a like a post on Twitter or anything on social media to where the developer's like, hey, I'm leaving, or even if it's just I'm leaving BioWare, period. Nothing. Not even that actually. It's been literally quiet on that front for some odd reason. But yeah, so moving on, and this one's my favorite because I don't know if it's a good idea. What I do know, it's funny. So a YouTuber is offering $10,000, and I quote, you know what? Better. I'll put it on so you can read it as I read it. YouTuber offers $10,000 reward to anyone who creates, you heard it, multiplayer mod for Zelda Breath of the Wild. So the YouTuber is offering a $10,000, bounty to anyone that can successfully create a multiplayer mod for the Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The content creator goes by the YouTube handler Point Crow and runs a channel featuring a range of Zelda-based content. Now, the way basically I was reading this is his channel obviously is first and foremost obviously everything Zelda this, but he wants to basically have the mod to where you can actually use it and you can play multiplayer but there's a couple stipulations. So you can only have a four player on there, and it's going to be to where you're inside the world and playing on there, but you have to have it before the new game, the sequel to the Breath of the Wild, comes out. So there is a time limit on this, and I believe if I remember right, the newest one comes out on March, this upcoming March. Don't quote me on that one. If I'm wrong, please leave it in a comment. Let me know I'm wrong. I don't know if this is a good idea. It'll be funny. I would like to see if it actually does work. 'Cause I actually do have the game. Is Zelda made for multiplayer? I mean, there's enough players, there's enough characters in the game to, yeah, you know, you can use whatever, but I just don't know, honestly. I don't know, and I don't want to say anything now until I see it, and maybe you never know. There could be a fan base for it. I'm not gonna sit here and say no, it's wrong, or yes, let's do it. I honestly, the most honest answer I can give you right now is I don't know. I just thought honestly it was funny because the fact that he's offering $10,000, if he can actually pay $10,000, uh, I don't know. But one of the stipulations is that you have to actually have the mod working, and he has to actually have first try on this before it actually is released too. That's another stipulation of the bounty, is that one is created, he has to have, or I'm sorry, they have to try, not he. I don't know if it's a he or she. I haven't actually watched this channel. I've just been reading this article and laughing my ass off, honestly. But they have to essentially try it first, and they have to basically have first dibs on it before anything else. And I guess afterwards, it's open to the public. Everyone can use it and have fun, whatnot. Okay, so last but not least, we're back on EA. Well, BioWare actually. So of late, supposedly this came out just recently, right now, that Amazon seems to be everywhere now. It is right. Amazon's thinking about creating a uh, BioWare series of Mass Effect. So, and as much as that sounds like fun, honestly, one developer actually has come out, and some of the points actually made on this are actually pretty valid. They're not wrong. So the point basically talks about is the fact that if you ever played the game, you obviously create a character, and your character is based on your choices of everything, period. And your character obviously develops not just by only what you choose on features and everything, but by the choices that you make throughout the game. So having a show, the way he explains it is having a show about a Commander Shepard esque would be kind of boring because Commander Shepard is usually a blank slate, and he's right about that, including your companions. Honestly, there's so many companions that you can go through. You can't actually have all of them in the show nowadays. Honestly, web series like I'm sorry, not web series, but online series like for example, Amazon series, for example, or even Disney Plus series, or Netflix, they're usually pretty short when it comes to that. They're at best, I think the longest I've seen is usually what, like 12 episodes, and that's a lot when it comes to those kind of original series. But having it on Amazon, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be like what, maybe 8 episodes, 9 episodes, I don't know. But the way he explains is that basically doing so like this and just having it to where it goes one direction or the other, you're going to be alienating at least 50% of the fan base, period. Because every player that plays this, no one player basically does it the same way. They might have basically the same type of course to where they did this one choice and that choice, but after that, they basically both veered off in a different direction. And that's not to mention basically if it's going to be a guy, a girl, whatever, the it's just going to be impossible to make a show about that. And one of the options that he recommends, and I honestly do agree on this one. I personally think it's a good idea because this way it's not going to basically alienate anybody. Not to mention, you're going to basically not only have the fan base that already played the game that will choose to watch it, some basically that will refuse to watch it, but you can also have people that have no idea whatsoever about Mass Effect, period, and they're gonna start watching it. So some of those will be, you don't even know how much number of those unknowns are gonna be watching and interested in the whole series. But yeah, what he considers basically as a separate option to do instead of just actually doing a by Commander Shepard is to do a separate story altogether that involves Mass Effect universe. I think that's honestly a good idea because doing so that way, it actually, if not ever, it builds up more on the universe, and if than it would basically if you do it on supposed well, at least on the main protagonist, which honestly the protagonist alone can be myriad different things, honestly. And the many different companions that you have, some basically that end up basically not being with you because of the choices you make, so it'll be hard to basically have all of them on the show. Doing it basically to where you're doing it on a separate story altogether, but that involves the same universe, would actually build more on the universe. So at least would actually grow it furthermore. The reason I say that, honestly, there's been actually a lot of different mediums that actually have worked like that. First and foremost, honestly, I think like the Assassin's Creed movie. It didn't work perfectly for that too, in my opinion. Granted, the movie obviously wasn't received as well, but if you think about it honestly, they chose a whole different assassin. Obviously the whole Brotherhood is a lot bigger than it is than you see basically in the games. The whole story basically revolved around the same thing, but it's a different assassin to where he obviously went back. The same premise in the first, of the game itself, but it's a different assassin than it is, for example, Connor going back and forth to his whole livelihood. With that being said, obviously he doesn't hate the game. He actually is giving pointers to both Amazon and to Bioware to do it differently. He is actually offering his help to actually do that. And two former actually Bioware employees, a composer and actually I believe what was he? A composer and a yeah, Yuka and Mr. Sam Hollick, composer, are actually happy to actually work with Amazon to consult about this series. If that's the case, honestly, I it would be actually pretty cool because you gotta remember in Mass Effect, it's a huge universe. It's a huge universe to where you can actually do your story from so many different multiple points of views. You got different races. You got different people in there. So there's so much story in there for you to actually pull from, and it would be fun actually to do. I totally agree with them, honestly, when it comes to that. Again, it's not the most direct I don't think he's absolutely right on that, but it's actually a really good start for them to actually do it. But at the end of the day, honestly, no one really knows what's going to happen. If Amazon's going to do it or not, because this is literally just beginning of a deal for them to make. If it does work, I'm kind of actually looking forward to it because I want to see how they're going to do it. Honestly, if it's going to be good, bad, something in between, I have no idea. With that being said, it's the end of this video. Please, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the video. If I did anything good, wrong, you name it, just let me know. Anything beyond that, live long, stay geeky, and please, like, share, comment. But at the end of the day, honestly, your viewership is all I need. Thank you. Have a good day.